Well, welcome to continuing the discussion, Genesis 43. There's something powerful happening under the surface of Genesis 43, and to really get it, we've got to step back and look at the emotional architecture of the story, because this chapter isn't just a transition in Joseph's plan. It's a spiritual turning point for everyone involved. Let's start with Judah. Back in Genesis 37, he was the one who said, let's sell Joseph instead of killing him. He wasn't innocent, but he was strategic. And here in chapter 43, we see him emerge again, but this time not as a schemer, but as a servant leader. He tells Jacob, I will guarantee Benjamin's safety. I'll bear the blame forever. That's not the same man we saw years earlier. This is the beginning of repentance with responsibility, and it's a key moment in the entire Torah narrative. Later on, Judah becomes the ancestor of kings, including David, and eventually, in Christian theology, the Messiah. That all begins with a decision in this chapter, a choice to step up, to take responsibility, and to protect the innocent. There's also a deeply theological idea embedded in how Joseph handles his family drama. Restraint before reconciliation. Joseph doesn't reveal himself right away. He tests his brothers, but he doesn't do it out of spite. He does it out of discernment. He needs to know if their hearts have changed. That brings up a difficult but important theme. True forgiveness isn't naive. Grace doesn't mean putting yourself in harm's way without wisdom. What Joseph shows us is a model of grace with boundaries, an idea rarely explored but so essential in real relationships. Now, let's talk about food for a moment. The brothers are invited to eat with Joseph. In the ancient Near East, meals weren't casual. They were covenantal. To eat with someone was to extend peace. In Egyptian culture, Hebrews were considered unclean or low status, as noted in verse 32. Yet Joseph breaks that wall. He not only invites them into his home, but he elevates Benjamin, giving him 5 times the food. This isn't just favoritism. It's a deliberate moment of observation. Joseph is waiting to see, will they envy the favored one again, or have they grown? That leads us to a deeper literary theme, the undoing of earlier sins. Everything in this chapter mirrors their past betrayal of Joseph. They only stripped him of privilege. Now Joseph gives privilege to Benjamin. They only acted out of jealousy. Now they have to respond to unequal blessing again. And Joseph watches silently, emotionally, but with purpose. This is a spiritual diagnosis, and it's profound. Another moment worth sitting with is the emotional restraint Joseph shows. When he sees Benjamin, the text says that he's overwhelmed and rushes out to weep. The Hebrew uses the phrase "Mekiru rachu mav," as compassion grew warm. That word rachamin is a womb language. It's the deepest kind of feeling, a love that aches. What do we do with a character who carries that much tenderness in private, but keeps a strong front in public? It tells us something about leadership, about emotional maturity. Joseph is managing a household, a famine relief program, and the fragile journey of reconciliation all at once. And he never lets his personal pain hijack the bigger picture. That's not easy, but it's holy. And finally, we can't ignore what's missing in this chapter: God's name. Not once is God mentioned by Joseph in this scene, but his presence is unmistakable. Joseph is embodying covenant faithfulness without having to explain it. He's living as someone formed by God, even in disguise. And that invites a deeper reflection. Do we live our faith even when we're silent about it? Do we embody what we say we believe when no one knows where the righteous won the room. Genesis 43 isn't just a bridge to reveal chapter 45. It's to the reveal in chapter 45. There's a reveal. He makes himself known. It's a masterclass in what happens when people begin to change. Judah becomes a guarantor. Joseph becomes a living parable. The brothers are tested, and slowly the fractures of the past start healing. Not because of quick apologies, but through deliberate steps towards trust. It makes me think, what kind of person do I become when old wounds resurface? Do I move towards healing with wisdom? Do I extend grace like Joseph, but with discernment? Do I step forward like Judah, offering myself to protect someone else? There's more happening here than meets the eye. This is the sacred ground for anyone who's ever had to rebuild trust, face their past, or forgive without erasing the pain. The Spirit is working through every detail: meals, tears, pledges, even silences. And we're just getting started. Thank you for joining me for this discussion. These chapters aren't just stories, they're mirrors. And sometimes what they reflect back to us can be tender, even challenging. If something stood out to you today, if a question stirred in you or a new insight came to light, I'd love to hear it. Leave a comment and let's keep learning together. Your perspective might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. I'm grateful you're walking through this with me. I'll see you next time as we continue deeper into the incredible journey through Genesis. Until then, may you walk in truth, grace, and peace.